The situation in Iran is probably one of the key factors that affect stability in the region after the military scenario that Israel and the United States tackled in the summer of this year. How do you see the further development of the situation, and is it possible, in your opinion, to return to full-scale talks on the Iranian nuclear program?
Iran is interested in this. All these months, starting from January, Iran has been playing seriously in the West in the renewal of sanctions, although it has no legal right to do so. Iran has consistently been in favor of negotiations, showing flexibility and creativity in its approaches. It has not succumbed to provocations, because the West has constantly lured Iranian negotiators into some round of negotiations and then reached some preliminary understanding. Everyone hoped that this would put an end to all these talks about how to proceed. The West then abandoned its preliminary proposals and agreements and continued to use methods of blackmail, dictatorship, and threats. The very fact that the West is trying to impose these sanctions as a result of the legal action that took place is, of course, an outrageous story. Let me remind you that the resolution that approved the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action was not violated by Iran. Iran has been implementing it since 2015, as soon as it was adopted. Then, in 2019, the United States said that they did not like it. They simply said, "We will not implement anything." The Europeans, who were also obliged to do their part, instead of expressing their support for the preservation of the deal, began to play up to Washington and convince the Iranians. Well, the Americans refused to implement it, but the Europeans said, "Let's not be offended. Let's come up with something else. Let's give in here." But this is simply mean, by and large, not to mention the fact that this is a gross violation of international law. And they took advantage of the position of this deal, which in 2015, when I was involved in this process, raised great questions. Because the then Foreign Minister of Iran, the negotiator at the time, was offered by John Kerry. Well, okay, we all agreed. There is a huge document, written details, technical, legal, practical. And John Kerry offered our colleague, the Iranian minister, that he could sell it in Congress and in Washington. Let's put it this way. Since many in the United States do not trust Tehran to convince them, let's note that if Iran suddenly violates something, does not implement it, then any country, well, I will not even talk about it now, automatically adopts a resolution to renew the sanctions, and nothing can be done there. That is, they came up with such a scheme, which is definitely in favor of anyone who would like to renew the sanctions against Iran again. I am sure that the Iranians went to such an agreement exclusively for one reason. They were not going to and did not want to violate anything. Therefore, they signed with a clear conscience, with a light heart, under this unprecedented tool, which the West has now used very rudely, turning everything upside down. And the country that did not violate anything, and which did everything until the West withdrew from the deal, was taken and punished. But I would like to mention one more point. The Iranians are still ready to negotiate, but the West seems to be doing everything on purpose so that these negotiations do not take place with the United States, although the Iranians have always been ready for this, and even does everything so that Iran does not resume normal cooperation with MAGATE. as if they are deliberately provoking a major conflict. Maybe someone needs this. At least we are talking about Arab affairs. We are preparing for the Arab summit. In recent years, including with our assistance, there have been positive advances in relations between Iran and Arab countries. In general, he had relations with a number of countries for a long time, but a few years ago they agreed to normalize relations with Saudi Arabia. This is the most important Arab country, the most important country of the Persian Gulf, and we welcome this actively, because for many, many years we have been promoting the concept of collective security in the region of the Persian Gulf. And we naturally want all coastal countries to establish a process of strengthening trust, development of mutually beneficial projects, and so on. There are 6 countries of the Arab countries that cooperate with the Arab states of the Gulf, including Iran. Many probably do not want this to happen. Many do not want Iran to get rid of the problems that have been imposed on it, including those that I mentioned, including the demand that Iran unilaterally abandon not only the nuclear program, including the peaceful nuclear program, but that Iran unilaterally disarm. Many still want to maintain careful relations between the Arab countries of the Gulf and Iran. These are the games of the West. The British are famous for always dividing and ruling with their approach. But here they do not even divide, but poison and rule. It is sad that colonial and neo-colonial schemes are still determining the actions of some of our Western colleagues.
Так что со всех точек зрения мы будем помогать нашим сирийским партнерам, готовы сотрудничать в этих вопросах и с другими странами, которые так или иначе свои интересы продвигают в Сирийской Арабской Республике. Особое значение будет иметь участие